Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome back to the GeForce Grotto and another GeForce G-Sale Gets video. Hey, what do you know? 3 weekends in a row I found something. Um, this is Friday when I'm recording it. I was off today and I went out. Last night I found two very promising leads on Craigslist. I made those my priority in the morning. One of them started at 8 and the other one at 8:30. I got to the first one at 7:40, and what the ad said was video games, and then it had a list of quite a few retro consoles. So I got there at about 7:40. There's already another shark there waiting, and it was, I waited about 5 minutes. Didn't seem like anybody was setting up. So I went and checked the Craigslist again, and the post had been deleted for Friday. It just changed to Saturday, so I figured they weren't opening today. So I headed to the next one, which started at 8:30. I got there around 8 o'clock, and I was waiting for about 10 minutes. I see another shark roll up, a different one, and this is about 8:10, I would say. Nobody was setting up at this sale either. So I go ahead and check the Craigslist ad, and it was deleted again for Friday. And I think it was just changed to Saturday or completely deleted altogether. The ad was missing from Craigslist, so somebody deleted it and decided not to have it or whatever. I thought it was very strange. They listed video games, and they had actually pictures. There was a bunch of PS2 games, and there was a picture with some cartridge games like Super Nintendo, and there was clearly a Smash Brothers for the N64 in the ad. But after I saw this other shark roll up, I was like, well, I guess they're not opening. And he actually got out of his car and was going to go walk up to the front door. And around that time, another different shark pulled up, a third shark that I saw for the day, and was talking to this other guy, and was saying, yeah, I guess they're supposed to have it, and I'm going to go up and check. Maybe they decided not to have it. So I was like, you know what, forget this, I'm out of here. I went to another Craigslist ad that advertised video games. Started at 9 o'clock. I got there about 8:30, and they were just starting to set up, so I was going to let them set up before I went up and checked. And guess what? A fourth shark pulled up, and I heard him ask for video games, so I'm like, shit. And I quickly got on my car, and I went up to the sale and looked at the video games that this guy was looking through. And there wasn't anything notable. There was like Xbox 360 and some GameCube games. The one that I saw was Mario Sunshine. I believe if the price tag I saw was corrected, they had it for $25. So I said, I'm getting out of here. I'm done with this. I'm going to freestyle for the rest of the day, which I did. And it's getting to around 12 o'clock. I stopped at this one house, and of course I asked like I always do, and the lady goes, yeah, I actually have a GameCube and some games. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't really need the system. If you've watched, I got about 6 of them last weekend. So I said, I'm just interested in the games. So I was like, okay, well, can you go inside and get them, and I'll see what you got. So she comes out about 10 minutes later, and she has some GameCube games. There was 6 of them, and she also had 6 Super Nintendo games, which she did not mention before she went inside. So she brought them out, and she's like, well, my kids want to look at these before we get rid of them, and blah, 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 blah. And that's what the big problem was at this sale. I ended up spending about an hour there. trying to negotiate for these games. There was 2 boys there. One was about 8 or 9. The other one was about 11 or 12. And they just would not let go of these games. The mom seemed on board, trying to get rid of the games, and was on my side, trying to help me to convince them. And these kids didn't even know that the mom had the GameCube. I guess it was tucked away in a box somewhere. I guess it was her mom's GameCube that she had. So the boys didn't even know that. I guess they played a little bit of the Super Nintendo, and like, oh yeah, we love these games. We love these games. We want to keep them. Blah 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 blah. And I made my first offer of $50, and they weren't interested at all. It was just very very hard to get this deal. I kept going up in the price a little bit. My next offer was like 65 or 60. Then I had to go up to 75, and then 85, and we eventually settled on 100. Even though the older boy was not very happy, he still didn't want to let it go for that. But the mom kind of just sealed the deal for me, and I got everything for 100. I originally was going to let her keep the GameCube, but I took the GameCube and the Super Nintendo and these games with it. These kids were asking me all kinds of questions. They didn't even know, which one was a newer system. If Super Nintendo was newer than GameCube, or how old this game was, or really anything about the games. They were pretty clueless. They have a PS3 and a PS4 that they play, I guess. Supposedly the Super Nintendo was in their room, and they had played it a little bit. But like I said, they didn't have any idea about the GameCube. So she brought the stuff out, and originally I was going to say, okay, maybe they could look through the games and keep some of the games that they wanted to keep, and maybe I could get the rest. And the games that they wanted to sell me were these games. Crash Bandicoot, Wrath of Cortex, Attack 1 and 2, and Tetris 2, and Mario Paint. They weren't interested in any of these games. They're like, no, we don't like these, we don't want to play them, you can have them. Well, I wasn't interested in those. I was interested in the games that they wanted to keep. And it was just a real fight to get them to sell these to me. But, like I said, we eventually settled on $100. So I got those games I just showed you. And I also got Star Fox, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 3, and Link to the Past. They were really hung up on Zelda, like, oh, we love Zelda, and they really never played the Zelda game. Then we have Zelda 4 Swords, Twilight Princess, and Wind Waker. All the GameCube games were complete except Wrath of Cortex. And then we had a pretty dirty Super Nintendo system with the cords and 2 controllers. And then we also got a GameCube with a memory card and 2 controllers and the cables. So that was a very trying deal that I made there. I honestly wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to make the deal. Like I said, I was there for about an hour, just trying to convince these 2 boys to let these games go, and I eventually got the deal. So I was pretty happy with that. Before that, the morning was going pretty shitty, and I saw another Craigslist ad for Saturday, and it said video games, tons of electronics. This is our first garage sale, and first was capitalized, so I figured maybe they've been in this house for 20-30 years. They have a lot of good old stuff, and that they would have something for me to get. You know, being their first garage sale, you think they would have a bunch of stuff. But like I said, it was advertised for Saturday, and I figured, well, maybe I could just go drive by. Maybe the garage door will be open and they're getting ready for the sale tomorrow. And sure enough, I drove by and the door was open and there's a lady inside the garage. So I said, "Are you having a garage sale tomorrow?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I saw your Craigslist ad for video games." And she was like, "Okay, they're right here. They're this much." And there was just 360 games, PS3, PS2 games. There was a fat PS2 with some controllers for $30. Nothing like I was expecting, like vintage stuff that we're looking for. But I managed to snag these 4 Wii games for $4 a piece, so 16. Not the greatest deal, but like I said, this was early on in the morning. This was after all those other failed Craigslist ad garage sales, so I was pretty desperate. But I think I did pretty well for the day, and that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.